The American Civil War, fought from 1861 to 1865, was a pivotal conflict in the history of the United States, shaping the nation's future and addressing the deep-seated issues of slavery and states' rights. The war was primarily fought between the northern states, known as the Union, and the southern states that seceded from the Union to form the Confederate States of America. Understanding the causes, key events, and consequences of the Civil War is essential to grasping its significance in American history. Causes of the Civil War. The roots of the Civil War can be traced back to fundamental disagreements between the North and South regarding slavery, economic interests, and the role of the federal government. By the mid-19th century, the northern states were increasingly industrialized and favored a strong central government, while the southern states remained predominantly agricultural and relied heavily on enslaved labor. The moral and economic tensions surrounding slavery intensified, especially with the rise of the abolitionist movement in the North. Key events leading to the war included the Missouri Compromise of 1820 and the Compromise of 1850, which attempted to balance the interests of free and slave states. However, the passage of the Kansas-Nebraska Act in 1854, which allowed new territories to decide on the legality of slavery through popular sovereignty, further inflamed tensions. The violent conflict that erupted in Kansas, known as Bleeding Kansas, was a precursor to the larger conflict to come. The election of Abraham Lincoln as president in 1860 was the final straw for many southern states, as he was viewed as a threat to the institution of slavery. Following Lincoln's election, several southern states seceded from the Union, leading to the formation of the Confederate States of America in February 1861. Major events of the war. The Civil War officially began on April 12, 1861, when Confederate forces fired on Fort Sumter in South Carolina. The conflict quickly escalated, with both sides mobilizing troops and resources. Major battles early in the war included the First Battle of Bull Run, where Confederate forces achieved a surprising victory, and the Battle of Antietam in 1862, which remains the bloodiest single day in American military history. The Union, under the leadership of generals such as Ulysses S. Grant and William Tecumseh Sherman, eventually gained the upper hand through a series of significant victories. The capture of Vicksburg in July 1863 gave the Union control of the Mississippi River, effectively splitting the Confederacy in two. The turning point of the war came with the Battle of Gettysburg in July 1863, where Union forces repelled a major Confederate invasion. As the war dragged on, it became clear that the conflict was about more than just the preservation of the Union. It was increasingly seen as a moral struggle against slavery. In January 1863, Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, which declared all enslaved people in Confederate-held territory to be free. This shifted the war's focus and allowed for the enlistment of African American soldiers into the Union Army. Conclusion of the war, the Civil War, ultimately concluded on April 9, 1865, when Confederate General Robert E. Lee surrendered to General Grant at Appomattox Courthouse in Virginia. The war had resulted in immense devastation, particularly in the South, with an estimated 620,000 to 750,000 soldiers dying from combat, disease, and other causes. The aftermath of the Civil War brought significant changes to the United States. The 13th Amendment, ratified in December 1865, abolished slavery throughout the country. The Reconstruction era that followed sought to rebuild the South and integrate formerly enslaved people into society, although this period was marked by significant challenges and resistance. In summary, the American Civil War was a complex and transformative conflict that arose from deep-rooted issues of slavery, economic interests, and states' rights. Its legacy continues to shape American society, politics, and race relations, reminding us of the enduring struggle for equality and justice in the nation.